I'll open up a new drum kit and I look at the file names and I see that the file names are drums that I've seen 10
They don't
years
even
ago.
change the file name. They
They
just
don't even change the file names. And so I'm looking at it like, wow, you guys really don't care.
yeah.
I think it's lying to you, man, because it says it's live on my end, but not on yours. Okay, cool. What's going down? It's DJ Payne 1. We are now at episode 51 of the Music Entrepreneur Club podcast. How are you feeling, Dame?
A little exhausted, man, but I guess I'm feeling okay. Been a pretty productive week. Um, yeah. So like, I mean, people know like I work on a lot of things, and a lot of good things have happened this week, so I can't complain. But amidst of what's still happening in the world, it's kind of tough to just continue to work and consume everything in our social media and have all these conversations still, but definitely still having some wins in this environment. So that's good.
What's the one win that you can talk about publicly that you would say is on your top from this week?
So I would say one of the wins is like we've done the most in sales in Jaws merch than we've ever done. Like I mean, it's kind of crazy that in the middle of a pandemic that, that's still happening. But like last month was the biggest month we've ever had in merch sales. And this month we've already eclipsed that mark and it's only the 11th. So, I think the levers we're pulling are working. If somebody's listening to this podcast or watching this podcast, I manage a couple of comedians. One of them's name is Big Ja, and his merch is really starting to move. So yeah, that's been surprising, but obviously a good thing. So one of the things that has led to those sales is a promotion that we're doing where we're putting a free mask in every order. So I think that's the primary driver, but we're pulling some other levers too, in terms of some of our marketing efforts. So yeah, it's definitely surprised that we're hitting the marks that we're hitting, but you're just gonna keep it moving. So,
well, congrats on that. Speaking of merch, a lot of producers don't really have physical merchandise, but we have digital merchandise, and I think probably the biggest asset that isn't a beat that producers are selling are probably drum kits or sample libraries. And I recently made 2 videos. Well, I made one video on YouTube and then one Twitter post, and they kind of went crazy. One was a YouTube video about a guy that sent me a sample library that he purportedly created himself, and I found a sample in there that was from a colleague of mine that was created back in I think 2011. So and he changed the pitch a little bit and was trying to pass it off as his own, which is problematic for 1,000,001 reasons. I aside from just the moral aspect of lying about something and misrepresenting yourself and stealing, there's also the element of giving somebody else something that's stolen and passing along all of the consequences of stealing to that other person. And as a producer who's trying to network, you don't want the first impression of you to be the guy that's going to get you in trouble or that's actively trying to get you in trouble, because that certainly would have gotten me in trouble if I hadn't caught it. But another tweet I posted was about drum kits, and I know this is why I'm bringing this up to you, because you're not have you ever made a beat in your life, Dame?
Nope.
Okay, but you understand the concept of a producer releasing a drum kit, right?
Yes.
So my whole thing with that is, as a producer, I want certain drum kits from certain producers because they have a certain sound, right? Like this producer over here, I love how their drums sound and they're unique to that producer. So if they release a kit, I'm interested. I've also this week had a random producer send me a drum kit. And I think it just hit a threshold for me mentally, because I opened up the kit and it was literally just all recycled sounds from other people's kits, and not even particularly new ones that have been around for years and years. Everyone in the producer community knows the Zay 808. Everyone in the producer community knows the Young Chop snare. Shout out to Ab McCree for actually explaining the real origins of those. But, you know, certain producers have coined certain sounds even if they didn't make them themselves. But I'll be damned if I'm buying a kit or even spending the time to download a kit when all that it contains is sounds that have just been used over and over and over and over again. And I just wanted to get your perspective, because I tweeted out, you know, that the producers who do this are the worst, because you're just perpetuating unoriginality and immorality. And I feel like it's been normalized. Stealing of sounds and recycling of sounds and reselling of sounds has just been normalized in the producer community, to the point where I'm getting some of the replies to this tweet were, nothing's original though, or you know, there's no such thing as an original sound, or well, this is 90% of all kits. It's like, okay, cool, but that sounds like we've normalized it. It sounds like we're cool with getting kits now that are just the same old sounds that we're used to getting from the past 10 kits that we downloaded. So I don't know why I don't know. What do you think? It seems to me like it's just being normalized.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like. I mean, it's just shady. Just a lot of shady stuff happens on the internet, man. There's just so many people trying to just cheat the process, you know, trying to steal. And it's, you know, and I can't say I get it, but maybe people are in a tough situation. Maybe people just are so fed up with the music industry. They're just trying to get it however they can. But I'm tired of it. It's across the board. It's obviously not just limited to the producer community. Going back to the merch that I was just talking about. So Ja has a theme. In his sketches, he refers to women's butts and thighs as yams. So he has a lot of merchandise that has yams on it. It will just say yams. Our new shirt says Yamsterdam. So we put out this shirt. It's super popular. And like, so I posted on his page. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of comments. You know, people love the shirt. And then I go back like an hour and a half later, somebody has replicated the shirt on a like Printful type site, like a ship on demand, a drop ship type company. I think it was called like T-Chip or something. And like under every comment, they were like posting the link to buy the shirt on their website. Right. So I guess they may have had a bot or something that was just like scanning for activity that had post that had a lot of activity that was selling shirts, and then immediately uploaded something to T-Chip or whatever it was and started selling shirts. So obviously it's not the same thing, but it's just stealing people's ideas. It's running rampant online. And I wasn't even thinking about that. I just happened to go back into the comments just to see how people were responding to the new merch. And I was like, what is this link that keeps getting posted under every single comment? But what's crazy is it actually started I banned him from the page. I had to file some kind of complaint with the company that the T-Chip company, because they don't know, you know, they let anybody just anybody can upload a graphic, and
I could make a Nike shirt right now and put it on T-Shirt.
But what it made me do was get more aggressive. I was like, shit, why wasn't I doing that to begin with? Like, why? Because we never are really like super aggressive. Like I'll respond to a comment that says, hey, where can I get this shirt? But I won't just start posting the link under everybody's comment. But it made me get a little bit more aggressive with my tactics, and it probably led to a lot more sales. I guess that's not the point though. My point is, it's shady that we have to protect ourselves in this. And sometimes the shit catches me off guard, and like, I feel like they're getting better at being thieves. And it just sucks, but I don't really know, you know, how do you prevent that? You know, like a digital product, like how do you guys protect your your beats. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really like content ID the drum kit or anything like that. Like what is the protection there? It just sucks.
Yeah, you have to manually go and deal with all that. And you release one drum kit, there might be 10 people trying to steal it and resell it, and then you end up having to do the work of 10 people. So yeah, it's difficult. I think a big reason though goes back to the normalization, which is that because people are so used to it, because it's happening all the time, people stealing ideas, people reselling things that they didn't create, and it's just been happening for so many years. It just is something that a lot of people have accepted to the point where it allows the thieves to do it much more rampantly and much more easily, because no one's there to push back. No one's there to say, I just spent $15 on this kit and it's identical to this other kit I just bought for $20 from another producer.
So educate me real quick. So when you guys are buying these kits, you don't have no idea what's in them until you buy them, right? Like you can't. There's no.
Sometimes, and here's my thing: you should have an idea. There are, there are ways to preview the sounds, but sometimes those previews can trick you because people might be lying in the previews. Number one, number two, a lot of producers just don't list the content in their kits. And I'm not talking about producers at the higher level, because there are producers out there who are sound designers and who have a reputation for being sound designers. We've seen their process. They're transparent about it. They're known for creating great kits. And I use a lot of their kits. And when I find a good one, I want to tell people about it. So, I think everyone knows Decap, everyone knows Illmind, people like that. And so when I hear somebody say, producers, let me just find the tweet, because it's like, this is the problem, because we're actually perpetuating this. So here someone tweeted me and said, "Ain't no sound that hasn't been recycled." I'm like, wait a minute, I could right now with my microphone record myself clapping, and no one else on the planet has or will ever have created a recording that sounds like me clapping at that exact moment in this exact room from this exact angle at this velocity. You know what I mean? So it's actually really easy to create something original. Me clapping into my mic is probably not a great sound that everybody is flocking to buy, but it's still a unique sound.
That comment is probably coming from somebody like me. Not that I would think that, but that my ear can't hear like subtle differences in sound, right? So I don't believe him. But I know that if you're a producer, like, things sound different, drums sound different. But just from like a consumer ear perspective, or just a more ignorant perspective, it's like, oh, you clap, sounds like my clap. But I don't have that. I'm not a producer. I'm not an engineer. I just consume music as a fan. So that's where that ignorant comment is coming from. But I think what ultimately sucks is that they're fucking up the market for the people that aren't the Illminds or the other people that you mentioned, right? Because we're losing trust in the community. We're losing trust that somebody that's not as big as them can put together a quality kit, because the assumption is going to be now that maybe those sounds are recycled. And maybe the way to prevent that is to provide more previews on your website. I don't know what does beat with drum. I know you can sell drum kits on BeatStars, but can you preview the sounds on BeatStars?
You can include a preview, and what I would encourage people to do also is, depending on the size of your kit, the drum kit I'm about to release has like 400 sounds in it, but if you have a smaller kit, you could list some of the file names even, because the thing about it is I'll open up a new drum kit and I look at the file names and I see that the file names are drums that I've seen 10
They
years
don't even
ago.
change the file name. They
don't even change the file names. And so I'm looking at it like, wow, you guys really don't care. And then the producer community doesn't care because, you know, their attitude, a lot of people's attitude is, well, no sound's original. Okay, let's extend that over to beats. If somebody were to take a bunch of high profile producers' beats and pitch them down and rearrange them a little bit and resell them as their own, are we still saying that that's cool and that's just how it is? Probably not. We're mad because we feel like we're being robbed. You know, producers are really sensitive about their beats getting stolen, but somehow that mentality doesn't transfer over to the drum kit world as much. And why is that?
Yeah, it's sad, but it sounds like as soon as you release your kit, I'm going to get the website damesdrumkits.com and just re-upload your kit and try to sell as many as I can.
It'd be smart and just undercut me, just sell it for a third of the cost and go on Instagram and post.
I'm gonna go a step further and say that you stole my sounds.
So that's even smarter. But use the same cover art and just like Photoshop your name over mine.
It's sad, man. And at the end of the day, I don't think we're ever going to get people to stop being shady. We're always going to deal with some level of shadiness. I am hoping that you are only responding to a loud minority and it's not like super prevalent amongst the producer community that have this perspective or that are participating in this, because it's ridiculous, man. It's so short-sighted too. It's like,
yeah,
if you're a thief, you just got to keep being a thief because you don't really ever, like, you're not building anything long-term. You got to keep looking for the next thing to steal, right? And it's not, you don't have any original ideas. You're not building anything healthy on a solid foundation. You just got to, and maybe that's what they want to do. Maybe they just want to continue being a thief. I have no idea. But
yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, you know, people just jump in the game and they see, well, Decap is releasing a kit. I want to release a kit. I want to make that kind of money. And it's like, you're not in a position to do that.
Right.
Who tells you that you put in the same work that Decap put in? He's been doing this for a couple decades and you just started yesterday.
Well, you can say the same thing about everything, right? You can say the same.
Yeah, no, exactly. It transfers to everything.
Same thing about the music education space. It's like I get frustrated because, you know, obviously we have, you know, over a decade years of experience in this, but I see a lot of people in the music education space. They get an artist to like 1 million streams on Spotify, and now it's
they're a guru.
Yeah, everybody's a guru. It's like, bro, like everybody just has to relax. Like, you can be a guru. You just have to put in the time and the effort. You know, and I wouldn't even go as far as to say, like, I wouldn't even label myself a guru, but I definitely have, you know, solid experience. I've taken artists that weren't full-time artists before, made them full-time artists. You know, the progress that I've made with Big Ja over the past year, you know, I definitely don't think he would have done without somebody like me stepping in. So, you know, and I don't throw this in people's face. I try to just share what we learned, but I think a lot of people are trying to, you know, establish themselves as quote unquote gurus, like just too soon. Like just get some more experience under your belt. That's all. You know, you'll get there and just get some more wins and, you know, continue to share as you progress.
I think the elephant in the room, though, is how people respond to this. Rather than being discerning, rather than having a critical eye, you will see how effective these folks who are effectively scamming their way into a position actually are, because people are just thirsty for any kind of silver bullet. So if one of these gurus that just started, you know, managing artists a month ago, and because they got them up to, you know, 50,000 YouTube views, they feel like now they're qualified to create a consultation program. And, you know, people are going to flock to it because they're going to make some unreasonable claims like, I'll get you to 50. I'm going to teach you how to get to 50,000 views. And someone who's getting, you know, double digit views might spend $100 on that and it's not valuable. They're just going to sit there and tell you, this is how you make a thumbnail. This is how you could have Googled that and found it out. So a lot of people, artists, whoever, producers, you're aspiring to be a professional producer. There are people out there that will just build their Twitter following up and start charging, $400 a month for management services. Or there are people out there that will, sell a PDF guide with obvious cut and paste information for $100 just to try to get some money out of you. And eventually you regret it, but people are only taking our money and scamming us because we're allowing them to, because our mentality is that we need their product, and we don't need their product. We need to be more critical. We need to experience more. We need to figure out what it is that's out there and what's valid and what's not. And a lot of that just comes from us being comfortable with taking time and putting energy into growing our own careers rather than waiting for someone to sweep in with a magic bullet and some snake oil that we pour on our careers and instantly we're famous.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's move away from because it's slipping into, well, I guess we've been talking about kind of scams. But let's
everything's a scam. Let's talk about something that's not a scam.
Yeah. So just wanted to, I posted yesterday in the Facebook group about changes coming to the MEC. Yesterday, I canceled all memberships, all paid memberships. And we had a decent amount of members. I mean, we didn't always have a large attendance in the live sessions, but people continued to be members, which was awesome. So we continue to get a lot of support, but we're changing our model up starting in July. We are opening up all of our sessions for free. And there's Payne, probably you can talk to kind of why you are interested in moving to this model. But we have a new partnership that it's allowing us to do this. That'll be able to compensate us for our work, but open up everything for free. But for me, what I think is helpful is like everything's on a membership model now, and I get it. You want that recurring revenue. A lot of people forget that they're subscribed to things, so sometimes companies and services, they're collecting money and you forget you even had the membership. So I get why it's a popular thing. There's memberships all over the place. But I think for me, there's a lot of pressure that comes with a membership model, right? And don't get me wrong, like we only charge $13 a month. I know that we deliver way beyond the value of $13 a month. I know that. Sometimes members don't understand that, and that's why they'll cancel. So we're always worried about making sure that our members understand that this is worth at least $13 a month. And there's a lot of, I feel that there's just a lot of pressure that comes with that. So I'm happy that once we've had this conversation with our new partner, they were interested in supporting the MEC, that we were able to release that pressure. So I'm going to feel a lot better on a month-to-month basis. And I think it's going to free up some time to just better the quality of what we're doing, to work on some of the things that I haven't really focused on, whether it's our Spotify playlist that I would like to grow and continue to promote, merchandise that, I never really had the time to focus on. But in terms of the format, it's not changing, right? So I'm still going to host my live weekly sessions on Monday. We're still going to continue to do the podcast. It's just opened up for everybody now. We're not yet sure where we're going to focus everybody to watch the live sessions. So we're figuring out those details over the coming weeks. But whether it's Facebook or whether it's YouTube or whether it's Twitch, whatever platform we decide, it'll be open to everybody. And I'm happy that pressure is released, and I'm happy that more people will be able to lock in with our sessions. So, Payne, you can talk to how, why you were excited about the partnership, and then maybe how the Beat Club may change going forward, if at all.
Well, I mean, what did I just get through talking about? The whole climate of the community and wanting that changed. So if we can reach more people and have these conversations about something like avoiding scams, that's a step in the right direction. If we want to change the paradigm from believing anyone that's selling a product, whether or not their product is good or whether or not their experience is sufficient for them to even be offering that product or service, then it comes from the community. It doesn't come from going on social media and saying this person's a scammer, because that can only do so much. And the second they get exposed, 5 other people duplicate their model that same second. So I'm just looking forward to reaching more producers and having direct conversations with them and having direct interactions with them in a way that I can't with, a tweet or an Instagram post. I try to be interactive with people, but to have an entire hour every single week to speak, to share experiences, to share strategies, to bring on experts that, I've interacted with throughout my career and have them share their experiences too, on a format that is totally interactive, to the point where people can ask questions live and get answers immediately. That's just so valuable. So I'm excited for continuing what we're already doing with a much wider audience.
Yeah, and shit, just as you were thinking, because I, like I just mentioned, like I don't know where we're gonna focus people's attention to watch the sessions, but I'm thinking like Instagram. Maybe I might even do Instagram Live, and then to take questions, I might have people text questions to our number. I think I got to think through this more, because I literally just thought, well, why not Instagram? Because I think that's where we would probably get the largest live audience at the moment. It's hard to pull people from platform to platform, right? Like if you're not a heavy Facebook user, I mean, I definitely encourage everybody that's listening to this to join our Facebook group, because I would like to continue to cultivate that platform and to facilitate, a lot of networking amongst each other's building. But it may not be the best place to start out with these new live sessions. So I might do my shit on Instagram, to be honest, and then just take questions either in the chat on Instagram, or maybe just have them text our Fan Connect line.
Well, the beautiful thing about Instagram is that you can just have your device, phone, tablet, whatever, running the Instagram Live, and you're running the webcam, and it's all the same. You're just reaching more people.
Yeah. So I mean, shit, I'm gonna think about it a little more, but that might be the move. And I think it helps, because I also want to give our guests the biggest platform because you always want to think, because obviously people are coming on our platform, share their experience, and they're more than happy to do that, but they would like, a little bit more visibility too, right? So, our guests might have a book, or they might have a service or whatever, and I think doing it on Instagram kind of gives them a little bit more visibility and direct access to people, to sell their products or, promote their brand. So that might be the move. I'll think about it a little more, because it's not the best. It's a lot of times there's a lot of technical difficulties on Instagram. So obviously that's not ideal. I'm pretty sure you can save IG Live video. So I'll be able to still capture the video and post highlights and things like that. But I think I'm moving Instagram, at least how I'm thinking about it now.
Well, regardless, we're going to obviously let everybody know what the format's going to be, how to tune in. There's not going to be a membership anymore. It will be free for everybody. So if you're watching this, you will have free access to our, consider yourself an MEC member right now, just by watching this podcast. MusicEntrepreneurClub.com is the website. We're going to be updating that with the brand new details right now. We haven't caught up yet with our own changes, but very, very shortly, we're going to be making a series of official announcements, and we'll let you know exactly how to tune in. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to seeing more of you. I know a lot of people weren't able to pay the $12.99 for one reason or another, whether or not it was cost prohibitive, or because you just couldn't find the time to tune into the session, or you didn't have a PayPal account, whatever the case is, that stuff is now eliminated. So we're looking forward to seeing you all in these live sessions, and we'll catch you on episode 52. We're going to talk about a lot more because we didn't cover much of what was on our list today. So until then, appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to everyone that's listening and watching. Peace.
Peace.